Dames en heren, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host for today, Paul Santen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you in this beautiful building, the Instituut voor Beeld en Geluid. We're here today to meet with the team, to hear about the plans from Team Belkin, and to meet the riders. My name is Paul Santen. I will be the moderator of today's session. And I'd like to welcome all the media. It's a full house. Thanks for coming here. But also the riders, the Belkin Pro Cycling Team, the riders, the staff, the sponsors, the partners, the suppliers, all of you, a warm and heartfelt welcome. Last but not least, we like to welcome the fans. There's no cycling without fans. And there's quite a few fans in this room, but there's many more at the moment following us online. The team and Belkin have set up a live stream, and this presentation will be broadcasted live on teambelkin.com, but also on the Global Cycling Network, which is a media partner for this event. And we invite fans to connect with the team and also to interact and to post questions for the riders. So people that are watching now, go to Twitter, I mean you're on your second screen already for sure, and use the totally connected hashtag. Post your questions with the name of a rider or without. During the presentation, we will select a few good ones, a few fun ones, and we'll post those and we'll put them in front of the riders at the end of the session. So, the agenda for today, what do we have for you? Arthur van Rest from Belkin will talk about the team sponsorship and what it has done for the company in the past 7 months. Richard Plugge, the team manager, he will talk about the plans for the team. Then we'll have a live connection with Robert Geesink and the team in Adelaide in the Tour Down Under and pose him a few questions. Then we'll bring the riders, all the rest of the riders on stage, present them here collectively for you, a few more questions, and then we go to that what we call social Q&A with the interaction with the fans live. So that's the program for the next 30-35 minutes. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Arthur van Rest from Belkin.
Thank you, Paul. So when Belkin Pro Cycling Team was announced last June, there was an amazing reaction from all over the world. And I would like to thank everybody for the welcome and support that we've received over the last 6 months. We are incredibly proud of the team and everything that they achieved in 2013. So from our side, we want to tell the world about Belkin, what we do and how we can connect people to technology. We've been using social media. Hopefully you've all heard about the Belkin van. I've been following the journey on YouTube. And we've also begun working with our channel partners all around the world to bring the theatre, the drama and the passion of cycling to our sales environment. So starting our sponsorship with the Tour de France certainly gave us an exciting introduction to cycling. It certainly didn't take long to be welcomed onto Alpe d'Huez.
Well, this is the Dutch corner of the US because the mountain is owned by the Dutch. It's going completely crazy since early on this morning. I think even yesterday evening. It's going crazy here. It's a big party. What riders are you? Belkin Moorman, of course, Laurens ten Dam, and the other Dutch guys.
Well, all the Dutch actually, but especially the Belkin guys. I think it's going to be one big stream of Dutch people.
My mother is a cheerleader and I cheer for her today.
I'm not. Yeah, I cheer for Belkin.
We give Las Dome a beer.
So that's pretty special, and you can imagine for everybody at Belkin, this was an amazing way to be introduced to the world of cycling. It shows what an accessible and great sport this is, and we're having a lot of fun. But we're also very fortunate to be working with the talented group of people that make up the Belkin Pro Cycling Team. It's been great to work with these guys, but it's also been incredible to get connected with the cycling community all over the world. Belkin is a global brand, cycling is a global sport, and Belkin Pro Cycling Team is a truly global team. So the team has a fiercely proud Dutch heart, but it's an international team. It's just as important for us that we are totally connected with the cycling community, not just here in the Netherlands, but in Belgium, in France, in Germany, in China, or down under in Australia, where of course the team is already starting the new season now. So I actually have to say, we're really looking forward to the Tour of California this year. We are a California company. In fact, both Belkin and Linksys are true Californian companies. And of course, Robert was the winner in 2012. And I know that he is really looking forward to being back there this year. So Belkin wants to be totally connected with people, wherever they are in the world. Anybody that has internet in their homes, anybody with a smartphone, and anybody that uses a tablet. And cycling is the platform to make that possible. As a company, Belkin believes in innovation, in thinking differently and challenging ourselves. And it's also why our partnership with this team is so appropriate. This team is really one of the most innovative of all the World Tour teams. So when it comes to nutrition, training and coaching, the study of aerodynamics, this team is setting new standards within this sport. It's a very forward-thinking, very progressive team, and Belkin shares that mindset. So you're going to be hearing even more from us in 2014. There'll be much more news about Wemo, our home automation technology. Today, we are selling Wemo products all over the world, and we're increasing the number of products in the range all the time. In fact, more and more of the products in your house are being connected to the internet, and Wemo is an easy and affordable way to make the so-called Internet of Things a reality for everybody. So in the coming months, you'll be seeing new Wemo products like Wemo Insight that monitors and allows you to manage the energy consumption of devices in your home. There is LED lighting, and there is a whole range of netcams and home security products, all controlled from your smartphone or your tablet, wherever you are in the world. So you might also have seen some of our announcements at CES in Las Vegas earlier this month. We introduced the Linksys Wrt, the most powerful router ever. So if you want to have the very best Wi-Fi in your home, then we think this is it. And of course, as you can imagine, we're also working very closely with the Belkin Pro Cycling Team to understand how they use technology in training or in competition, so that we can develop athlete-inspired products so that they and you can get the most out of technology and using your devices. You'll be hearing more about that later in the year. This isn't the time and the place, but we have a lot of fun things to talk about, and over the coming season, we want to share those things with you and everybody that's been so enthusiastic about welcoming us to this great sport. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're pleased to welcome both Bianchi and Santini to the team, and we're looking forward to what promises to be an exciting season. So with that, I would now like to welcome Richard Plucker on stage to present the team.
We will do a little Q&A with Paul. He had some questions for me, so.
Yes, a little interaction, a little tandem presentation right here. I wanted to check first, Richard. A lot has happened last year. 2013 was a turbulent year for you and for Team Belkin. It must have felt like a roller coaster ride for you.
Yeah, it was a year with mixed emotions. In the early season, without a sponsor, we were down more or less in the gutter. But then later during the summer, Belkin came up and we were flying high.
It was not really that long ago, 7 months. It was also here on the Media Park in Hilversum where the team was presented. From there, things were looking up.
Yeah, it was a breakthrough moment, of course. Just before the Tour de France, we proudly presented a sponsor from outside cycling. And bright lights and a good momentum gave us an energetic moment for the Tour de France.
So what happened after the Belkin introduction? How do you look back to last season?
We had a lot of highlights. We have shown good team energy. We posted good results with 39 wins. And we created a platform for growth. A platform to grow as a team, but also as a company. So yeah, it was really a year with highlights.
So always the question comes when you had a good year, then what's coming next? What is in store for 2014?
Well, we will put the next steps there. On the business side, we are looking for a more healthy model for the team, and we work on our team philosophy as well as Team Belkin on the sportive side.
This move forward, how do you want to make this happen with the organization?
Well, we will build on the success of last year, and it will be marked by the coming of age of the key riders we have and the experience of the team. And we are ready to take the next step to the top, and we will do that in 2014.
And what about your young guns? You mentioned the coming of age of riders. What do you expect from the youth in your team?
Well, we will continue to be the breeding ground for promising and ambitious riders. Last season, Wilco Kelderman had a really strong season, but also Mark Goos and Marino Hofland. And we hope that Steven Kruiswijk will be back on his former level. We will foster talent. We will help them getting to the next level. So we will also in 2014 ride the future.
Ride the future, that's been your motto over the last year. If you look back into the past, you've started in your position, in your role a year and a half ago. What have you done with the organization, with the structure of the team to set it up and looking forward?
Well, I think team is the key word. We have built a better structure and a compact organization with clear roles and responsibilities for everybody. Every spot is filled by the best person we could get. You know, from rider to soigneur, from coach to bus chauffeur, from doctor to mechanic, and we have confidence in this team.
And you mentioned confidence. How do you instill confidence in a team? What does it take?
Yeah, we had a really strange year last year, and we're in this together, and we focus on working together with the whole team and create a good chemistry to perform at the highest level. And we put a lot of effort in developing each individual, again, riders, soigneurs, and so on. And that's where we stand for, being a team.
The growth doesn't happen naturally. How do you get there?
Well, we're always looking for the marginal gains. We were the first team, you can see it here, with cool vest and fans. Yeah. You can see it here, and we do that. You know, we're always striving for excellence. We do that in preparing, in coaching, and working together in tactics, in racing. We aim high to get higher.
When you talk about marginal gains, to me it has a very sort of innovative feel to it. How do you achieve those?
Well, we built innovative and strategic and long-lasting cooperations and partnerships, like, for example, with Nutrim and Daily Fresh on nutrition, with the Cruijff Institute on coaching, but also with Weerplaza, for example, for weather forecast during the races, and Victron on sustainability, who gave us some solar panels for our trucks. And we have a new cooperation just started with Transportium, the new Dutch innovative center of the Netherlands.
Last year, you gave access to a media crew. They followed you during the tour, full on for the full 3 weeks. They came out with a documentary, the Tour van Bauke, Bauke's Tour in English. It created a lot of enthusiasm with the fans. Are you planning on doing something similar for the next year?
Oh yes, to be valuable, marketable, and credible, accessibility is really important. So in our approach to the fans, we will continue to be transparent, and we will continue to support the fans and have fun with them via social media. Together with Belkin, we are working on this to be totally connected. Then
maybe one of the highlights, certainly for me personally, the Vaya etappe, the stage of the tour, the Ashland stage. The guys were riding the wind hard. People loved it. I think even Christian Prudhomme, the Tour de France director, mentioned it as one of his highlights. What does that stage and how Belkin rode tell about the team?
Well, I think it's a testament to the drive from both riders and staff to perform and compete at the highest level. We did a reckon already in May, and in the lead up to the Tour de France, the whole team, also the staff, worked to this day. It was the motivation from within everybody in the team, And that's the way we work, and only then we can make this happen, not only in the Tour de France, but also in other races.
So, 2014, what is new for you in the organization?
Well, we have some. We are extremely proud. We have new partners in Bianchi on the bikes, and Santini in clothing. Both really strong companies with a long heritage, with a long, lasting experience, and to innovate and build the products for the future. And we're really proud that they're aboard.
New partners, new riders. You have signed 3 new guys on your team.
Yeah, Jonathan Hiver, Barry Marcus, and Nick van der Lijken. And Nick and Barry are the guys who are the Ride the Future guys. We will help them develop. And Jonathan is a strong rider, and we hope to help him to get stronger.
Okay. So let's talk about the goals. You know, the season. It's a standard question to a rider or to a team manager. What's your plans? What are your goals for the next year?
Well, we will focus on the World Tour. The World Tour is the most important. We will focus on the Spring Classics with Lars and Sepp, of course. Bauke, Robert, Wilco, Kelderman, Laurens en Dam will be the main contenders for the Grand Tours. And of course for the Hilly Classics. And of course we want to show ourselves in the Tour of California, where in the backyard of Chad Pipkin, where Belkin is based.
So last year at the tour, I was just talking to Nico Verhoeven, and he said he came back after the tour and he had people thanking him for such a fun tour, because the way the Belkin team rode and you know the good results of Bauke and Laurens really inspired a lot of people. How can you repeat that energy and that?
We want to inspire people, as we did last season in the biggest cycling party of the year in the Tour de France, but we want to do it also in the other races. We help bringing cycling back to the hearts and minds of the cycling fan, and I promise you we will do so in 2014 with Team Belkin.
Thank you, Richard.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Drum and bass. In the whole theme of being totally connected, we're trying something new today. Having
Right now.
At the moment it's really good. We had really 40 plus, 53 early this week, but numbers went down, and now we're about 30 results.
So that sounds a little bit more comfortable than the temperatures in the Giro d'Italia earlier this or last year, I should say. That was pretty cold and pretty nasty, right?
Yeah, you could say so. That's what we have to work and cycling will go on. So in Giro, and I think also, as you would have seen, if it was hot out here. But right now it's doable, and we can race it.
So Robert, what are your expectations for the race, for the Tour Down Under? Last year Belkin, I couldn't say walked away, rode away with a victory. How are you guys going to approach it yourself and with the team in the race that starts tomorrow?
Yeah, of course we're motivated again. We're very strong. 3 guys at my side. Of course, know the road because it's been back route, so he knows every route. So that's a good thing on the left side. We got a lot of experience, guys who will help me also, and we need to do really good DC and try to get the most out of it as possible.
I have a final question for you, Robert. Besides the Tour Down Under, is there one other big race that's high on your calendar for next year, where you have your target?
Yeah, well, of course, there's a few more, but yeah, the Tour, of course, it's the season again, which is, and as I was also experienced last year, doing it in a different way, then you really find out it's the biggest race and what's all about in cycling, and I think it's a good idea of the team to go there with 2 guys next to Frank, also need to try and get the Tour and the general classification and make the best out of it as possible. I mean, we think if we can support each other, we can
well, I see that
we can get to a higher level than normally do.
I see the team energy is good. We have a line that's a bit choppy. I want to thank you. I see Graham Brown barely keeping a straight face. Thank you all. I see Bram, Steph. This is not candid camera. Robert, fantastic. The whole team have a good race, and we'll be following you from here. Looking good. So we go from a virtual connection to a live connection, back to a real life without proper voices and good to understand. So we're gonna roll in the riders. I think we got 20 of them. It's pretty much the whole crew that is not in Australia, except for Juan Magarate, who's in Spain. So I'm calling them up one by one. So we're gonna open the curtains and we're gonna see if they're ready. Jos van Emden, are you there? I cannot do the introduction like Gio Lippens, but I'm going to try to at least giving a bit of credit. Jos van Emden, the winner of the Münsterland Giro. There he is. Yeah, he is a product. Robert Wagner, he is, no, sorry, Martin Cialinghi, I say it wrong. Stage 2 of the World Sports Classic. Robert Wagner, he took the prologue at the Ster ZLM Tour. Maarten Wijnands, second place at the Challenge Mallorca. Dennis van Winde, back on the bike after a bad year with lots of surgeries. Moreno Hofland, he took the overall on the Tour of Hainan with 3 stage wins. Tom Lezer, beautiful victory in the Tour Langkawi in the pouring rain. We have Buddy Marcus, second place finishes in the Tour Qatar behind Cavendish. Paul Martens, he took the Tour of Luxembourg and a stage win at the Volta Algarve. Jetse Bol, he almost won Paris Tour, he was so close. Mark Goos, good year last year, young rider, promise for growth. On the second row in, we have Lars Boom, overall victory in the Ster ZLM Tour, stage wins in the Hovar and the Tour de Méditerranée. Theo Bos, 12 sprint victories last year, 6 of those in the Tour of Hainan. Laurens ten Dam, 13th overall in the Tour de France. Wilco Kelderman took the Tour of Denmark victory and 5th in the Tour of Romandy. Steven Kruiswijk, tough year with surgeries, but he's back. Bauke Mollema, number 6 in the Tour, stage wins at the Tour of Swiss and Vuelta de España. Jonathan Hiver at stages at the Ruta del Sol, new in the team. Nick van der Lijken from the Rabobank Development Team, he won the Kruisbereis, if I pronounce that correctly. Lars Petter Noordhout, Norwegian Championship, Cyclocross. And last but not least, Sepp van Marken, the Grand Prix in Paris, and a beautiful Paris-Roubaix where he finished second. Here's the team for 2014. All right, we keep going, and now we have a few questions for a couple of the riders, and I'm going to invite the ones up to me to be close here. Bauke, if you could step out and join me here in the light, so the viewers, I would say back home and online, can see you properly, because you deserve it. You deserve the spotlight. My question for you, Bauke before the tour and Bauke after the tour. There must have been a difference in how the people approach you and how it is as a rider.
Yeah, I think me as a person, I'm still the same, but I think there's a lot of much more media attention for me, a lot more fans interested in me or willing something of me. But yeah, it's nice. It's a compliment for what we did, I think, as a team in the tour.
With this season behind you, will you prepare differently for 2014 as you've done last year, or is it pretty much you know what you do and you keep the same routine?
Pretty much the same, yeah. I think last winter I did a lot more than the years before. I've been training more, a little bit more intensive also, and I did the same the last months. And I will start in February, maybe 2 weeks later than last year, but. My program is more or less the same than last year, and I'm really looking forward to the first races.
Okay, thanks a lot. I'm going to ask Lars to join me.
Hi.
Hi, Lars. You're a man of the classics, among other things.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, Roubaix, Paris-Roubaix, or the Ronde van Vlaanderen? Are they equally beautiful to you, or?
I think for Sepp is Flanders, but for me is Paris-Roubaix not the most important, but the one who suits me the best.
And what makes Paris-Roubaix for you a better race, better suited than Vlaanderen?
It's only one race like this a year, and it's so special. Hopefully this year is gonna rain a lot, and it's gonna be a wet Paris-Roubaix, and then it's even more special, I think.
We saw one of the slides in the presentation where you were riding up the Alpe d'Huez. We saw the little video. Must have been pretty special. Yeah. Would you want to ride the tour again? Is that on your?
Yeah, I think this year for sure. Last year was really special for the team, and we did a great team effort, I think, to put Bauke and Lau in the position. In a lot of stages, and especially this year with the couple stages for me, and it's important to be there. Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lars. Sepp, I'm going to invite. Sepp, hello.
Hello.
I think when people look at you and the fans, a lot of they'll think. Paris-Roubaix and the finish on the velodrome. I think you warmed people up. I mean, there was even a slight tear coming through at some point, but also I think happiness. And what did that race do to you, and how are you going to approach that same race next year?
Yeah, last year was pretty special because I had a big crash in Tirreno, and yeah, all the training work seemed all for nothing. So then I worked hard, and then the only goal then that was left was Paris-Roubaix. And being second was was really good. Was you could say a dream come true to be on a podium, but actually I was only disappointed because I was so close for winning.
Yeah. You were close. I saw on Twitter that you already, doing your reckon rides. You're checking out where you've been running this weekend, right? With Maarten Wijnands and with your brother Ken. How do these rides work? What do you do in a training ride like that?
We just ride on the parcours. This time was Tour of Flanders because it's new. I like to do it a couple of times, and you just check. How the cobbles are again. Each winter is they get a little bit worse. Now it was okay because it didn't freeze and snow. But yeah, you look which cobble sections comes after another, and especially when the parcours changes.
Okay. Wish you all of luck next year without injuries and even better rides. Thank you. We go to Wilco, Wilco Kelderman. Hello, Wilco. Good year last year. What is your, you know, as a stage rider, what is your main goal for next year?
Yeah, I ride already last year the Giro, and this year I'm gonna do it again, and I hope to do it better as last year, and yeah, I hope to do top 10 or behind the top 10, top 12, something like that.
Top 10, that's good. It's a good ambitious goal. What do you learn from as you know, a first Grand Tour? If you look back, are there certain things that you take with you want to do differently for your next Grand Tour?
Yeah, the first weeks are also really important. You need to save a lot of energy in the first weeks. The last week is always hard in a Grand Tour, especially the Giro is always hard in the last week, and yeah, I learned a lot last year with the leaders in front of me, with Robert and Stephen, and yeah, I hope to do it this year as good. Yeah.
Good. The last year's Giro was very cold. How, as a rider, as a pro rider in racing, and it's snowing and it's super cold, how can you mentally and physically prepare for these conditions?
You never can really prepare for that kind of circumstances. You need to have really good clothes, of course, and yeah, we have now a good sponsor with Santini, and yeah, it's always mentally really hard to start again with the cold, and yeah, it's really hard always. Yeah.
It's part of being a pro rider. Wilco, thank you. I'm going to ask you to go back to your place and have Theo here, Theo Bos. Hello, Theo. We saw you in Rotterdam at the 6 days, back on the track. Yeah. What was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, it was a good preparation, I think, for the road season. But I hoped I had a little bit better result, but it wasn't so good.
But you had fun.
It was fun, and it was a little bit painful, but I think it was fun. I raced with Graham Brown. He's former Olympic champion on the Madison, so it was a really good. At the end, it was a really good preparation. In the beginning, we had a little bit problems to have the right rhythm, but at the end, it was good.
Yeah. Of course, we're looking for more victories, more sprint wins. And so are you. I'm just curious, because for the viewers that are watching on the stream, a lot of these people are really into data and into numbers and into wattage, you know, and you're known that you, at a training or at a session, you can put out some pretty amazing wattage numbers. What is the highest that you've ever done, either in a training session or in a race situation?
It's a secret. I cannot say it. Because my trainer will be angry then, I think.
Yeah, I thought I had an original question, and then I'm gonna get killed by you.
But on the track, I was better with. I pushed higher watts in the sprint.
Okay.
And it was always above 2,000, but now it's a little bit lower, but it's close.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not revealed the secret. You can't talk, obviously, so I'm going to ask you to call back and get Lawrence here and see if he's going to say a bit. No, thank you. Lawrence, the last one up, last but not least. Also for you, a big year, even with a book that came out. And the book also talks about cycling and being transparent, and I think it's also a bit the philosophy of the team. What did the book mean to you? What's the response?
Actually, the book was about last year, so there's a new chapter to be written. Now, I'd like the fans to show what needs to be done to be a good pro rider. It shows basically everything what I do, training, nutrition, everything for to compete at the highest level. And I'm really happy the book is made and proud of it. And I got a lot of good reactions from people on Twitter or Facebook. Like they like the book too. So goal achieved.
Yeah. I think you managed to really connect well with the fans that you have. You're one of the, I think, lead people on Strava. I think you have 40,000 people that follow your rides, whether it's training or racing. How do you interact with the people that follow you like that, and how does that thing like Strava fit in?
I don't have any secrets about watts and training rides, so no. I just like to show the people, like I don't hide anything, so they can know how much I train or how much altitude meters and things like that. My heart rate is on, my power, if it's working, the power meter, it's also on. And people can follow me throughout the year and see everything what I do on Strava. And like you say, I got 40,000 people who follow me, and I got a lot of good reactions on every ride, so people like it.
Yeah. Then actually there's a picture on the screen. You, I think this is the second year that you did a Twitter ride around just after Christmas. How many people showed up for that?
No, I didn't count them actually, but always like you say, Boxing Day in England, we do a Twitter ride from the track in Alkmaar, where it all started for me, and basically I'm once or twice a year back there in my old hood, and I invite everybody to join. And I think this year we're 50-60 people who all rode together like 70 kilometers on 26th of December, and everybody liked it and it was really nice. The weather was good this year to us.
Cool. Lawrence, thank you. We now are pretty close to the social Q&A, the questions from the fans. So we have Manolo, who is monitoring the live stream, and he's picking up questions, so I'm going to give it back to him.
Morning, everyone. We've got a few questions from all over the world, some very interesting ones. So a guy from Northern Ireland called Zach is asking to one of the riders, what do you think it takes to become a great cyclist, and if you have an advice for an under 23 cyclist as he is? And the same kind of question came from Daniel Keleperas from Rhodes in Greece, and this is coming from YouTube, that says, what advice or advices will you tell to a new very promising rider to achieve what you guys achieved, or to be a part of a professional cycling?
Okay, I'm going to ask it to someone that's been around, that has experience and can look back. Maarten Tjelingi, could you, the question that's coming, what does it take to become a pro rider, and what advice would you have for a young guy that has aspirations to become?
Of course, the first thing is to have a dream, where you want to go to, so you have a straight goal for yourself. If you have the goal, your road towards the goal becomes more clear to you, and you have to go for it. You have to really do everything, train hard, live properly, set the goals, do the right racing, be in a team where you get the possibilities to ride the races to become bigger, and then that's when you can be part of us too.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. We've got a few questions which are around your new bike sponsor, Bianchi. In particular, we've got this one from Max Thomas on YouTube. Is what your rider thinks about the new Bianchi bike? If you have good feelings in training so far?
A bike question. Who is the bike? Steven, can I ask you something about the bike, the new bike, the Bianchi bikes? What is it? What is your feedback?
Yeah, for me it's a really nice bike. I really been around it 2 months right now, I think, and I really like it. And it's comfortable, it's stiff, and running uphill is really good for me. And maybe you should ask a sprinter how he likes the bike in the sprint. So.
Well, there you go. You get the pointer from your buddy.
yeah. For us, for the sprint, it's also good. It's stiff. It's a stiff bike. It's light. We come also from a good sponsor, and when you hear we changing bikes, everybody always because it's a really important machine you have. But I think after the first training camp, everybody was really happy with the result, with the ultra we got, and it's a good combination, I think, between stiffness, weight, and aerodynamics. So I think for everybody, it's a really good bike.
Thank you. Another theme which is very hot on social media is nutrition. We've got two different questions. One is from Sean White, is how many, if any of you, of the riders are gluten-free? And if so, have you seen any performance improvements?
Guys, raise your hands. Anyone gluten-free? I guess the answer is no.
The other curiosity, if there is anyone vegan in the riders?
Well, we have one vegetarian, so Martin, we come back to you again. Maybe just a quick
question was there?
Yeah.
No.
I am vegetarian. I have gone less on the protein. I've taken out a lot of milk products, which I was still using. But there's one thing which I really like, and I'm not going to let go, is the cheese. So, well, yeah. I mean, I'm there.
Okay. As a Dutchman, you should never let go of the cheese.
Okay. Thank you. We've got a question now from South Korea. So Haiwon Him want to know, of course, which are your goals for the season, and this question is particular for Theo Boss. He wants to know how was the transition. Sorry, I've translated from Korea, so if it's not perfect, I apologize to Haiwon. How was the transition from the track to being a sprinter on the road?
Yeah, it was a really difficult transition. You come from effort that's 200 meters short, that's 10 seconds, and now you race races like Paris-Roubaix, that's 250 kilometers. Ends on a track, but a little bit different. Yeah, it's a big difference, and it's a different lifestyle. You train longer, more hours on the bike, and yeah, it takes a while, but I'm happy that I come this far, and you lose a little bit weight, you lose a little bit muscle, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we've got another question on how you enter into cycling. This has come from Edward Sutton from UK, and he'd really like to know how you all got into cycling. Because it seems that like most of the athletes entered it at birth, and any riders that got it into their teens, like 16th or 17th?
Okay, I'd like to, Bauke, what made you become a cyclist? What got you into the sport?
Well, I think I started cycling pretty late. When I was about 18, I started with my first races, and I've always done a lot of sports, so I was always really active and doing football, tennis, running. But I've always liked cycling, and then when I went to school, when I was about 12, I always had to go to school like 11, 12 kilometers going to school and back in the afternoon, and that's one point I really liked it, to go to school and back home as fast as possible, and that's when the moment came that I bought a bike, and finally I went to look a team to do some races.
Okay, I will ask one more question, which again comes from South Korea. It's from Pakayan. And you want to know, what new cycling technology are you developing? If you can say, of course.
New cycling technology. Let me see, where is the... Huh? Louis Delahaye would be put on the spot. What is the new technology question from a fan from South Korea to help the team move forward?
Of course, we cannot say everything. The secrets will be revealed later in the year, but I think one of our new technologies is Pioneer Power Meter. We already did a lot with power meters, but with this power meter you can also calculate left-right differences. So I think that is very important. And right now we are working on two projects. The one you already saw in the short presentation. about body temperature cooling before time trials, and the other thing I think that is very important for cyclists is sleeping, and we were working a lot on trying to improve sleeping quality. I think that is the three most important innovations we are working on now, except from, of course, aerodynamics on the bike, etc.
Thank you. Just the last tweet, which has just arrived, which I think is pretty cool, which is actually says, from Nancy Ariola, says, pretty cool to be able to follow Tim Belkin presentation from my iPhone at Eindhoven's airport. Totally connected. Thank you.
Okay. With that note, the connection from Eindhoven, city of innovation and technology, we're going to wrap it up over here. Photographers taking their photos, but we're creating a second photo moment outside on the stairs. So when we leave the room here to the right, and we have a little backdrop with the nice Institute of Beeld en Geluid. So for the journalists and the camera people, we're going to take the riders onto the steps. There'll be another second photo moment. After that, the riders will dress in their casual clothing and will be available for the one-on-one interviews and be around. And then at 2 o'clock, we have the Twitter ride for people that want to ride with the guys. Thank you for your attention. Thanks for coming over. Thank you for the team. And allez-y.